Look out for the double leg takedown. He kind of bullies his sparring partners that I witnessed into the corner, then works in for the double leg, and then to try and progress from there. But he's got a little bit of everything. I'm not sure that I saw anything stand out, but this is, I think, his debut, so it'll be quite interesting to see how he manages this whole occasion.
I think another interesting thing to note is that Marek, who's fighting in the main event, is actually even in his corner. So these guys really are a true family. They really are, got their back all the way.
And his opponent to the red corner, Gregorz.
So he's really tried to get a little bit of everything under the tutelage of Wes Lucas. Very hard-working athlete. He's very game. He doesn't really know what to expect tonight, but he's certainly very pumped. His coach is excited to see him. Sometimes he says when guys come to the gym, you never really know what to expect and they might not be up for it. But he really thinks that Nathan's going to have a good one tonight. You made reference to the KO gym very tight, and I have to say they really are. They are just such a tightly knit group of guys. I think a lot of them are Polish and Eastern European, so they support one another in many different ways. But there are other guys, Leroy Dex and a couple of other guys whose name escaped me at this time, who come out of that gym, and it's a real family atmosphere down there. So this one's underway, and it's Nathan Jones popping out a
nice
very
right
nice
hand
right
from
hand.
Nathan. Very sharp hands. Already we can see that. Very quick.
Gregorz left his head and arm, and it's a nicely done by Nathan at the moment. He's leaning forward to stop Gregorz from popping his head out, which is the right technique, rather than leaning all the way back.
I'll be honest, John, I want to see a few more of those right hands. I mean, he really did look very sharp there in that initial exchange, and I wouldn't blame him for just breaking away and getting to work and his stand-up.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably at a stage in his career where he needs good direction from his corner. Gregorz closed the distance after tasting a couple of those shots and tried to work in. Physically imposing physique.
Doesn't look like there's a strength issue, though. I think Nathan's handling it very well at the moment. He seems to be really dealing with Gregor's obviously size and combating it very well.
Yes, indeed.
You see some of those hands.
Yeah, Nathan breaks away. I think he'll have the reach advantage. Gregorz closing down the cage.
Nathan switching from southpaw to orthodox. It's obviously something he feels comfortable with.
Well, Wes Lucas is a pretty useful kickboxer. He's competed in sort of point kickboxing for a very long time. So I would imagine that he's got good footwork, and that's something that Nathan's obviously learned. Oh, and a nice sort of corkscrew uppercut from Nathan.
Gregor's coming back with some nice right hands of his own, though. He seems to have his mouth open, which might mean he's ever so slightly fatigued. Carrying around all that muscle does make a difference, but I think it's a one shot. I think if he catches you, he's going to hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine that he's probably heavy-handed looking at him. A very come-forward style of fighting. It's Nathan Jones is a little bit lighter on his feet, looking for precise strikes. Not really turning his hip into these kicks so much, but his hands look pretty useful.
Yeah, I agree. He looks very sharp with his hands, and he's got some nice head movement. He's mixing it up a little bit. He's trying to get his angles.
Trying for a One for the cameras. With the Superman punch.
What I like to see with Nathan is when Gregorz throws that right kick, he's just pushing the right hand through, and that is exactly what you should do when someone throws a kick. If you're not going to check it, counter it with the right hand.
Combat Company guys are very game. They often cut their teeth on, you know, bigger shows like this rather than going through the amateur circuit, which can be a bit risky, but when you have a talented fighter, then it gets them started quite early on in their careers and gets them noticed. Oh, I like that setup that Nathan used.
I think Nathan's noticing that he's making a little bit of progress with his hands, and and Gregorz is not upping his pace, so I think he realises that there's going to be a fatigue issue soon enough.
I quite like Nathan's approach. I mean, this is his debut, and he's really look how measured he is. He's waiting for his moment. He's waiting for something to happen, and then he's trying to set things up generally, which is not something we always see. Amateur fighters can come in with sort of reckless abandon and get caught, but not so much this evening.
Well, I know we might be repeating ourselves, but this is a difference now. Amateur fighters are conducting themselves like professionals. They're fans of MMA. They're watching a lot of MMA. They're students of the game.
So yes, we're watching the development of Gregor from the KO gym and Nathan Jones from Combat Company. What I mean by that is this is an amateur contest, so they're very much on the up in terms of learning technique and everything else associated with mixed martial arts. Oh, a nice flurry of punches from Nathan Jones. Sorry, Dave.
Sorry, John. Gregor's corner, I think, have asked for the low kick. I think they think they want to slow Nathan down a little bit, and he has got a very strong low kick, Gregor. As you can see, he puts his whole hip into it. It's very tie heavy. There's the double leg. Left his head in, though, but he's driving.
Yes, he has left his head in, and he needed to be. And there's the tap. He got the tap, a standing arm-in guillotine. Nicely done from Nathan. Shows very strong hips and lower back to avoid the takedown. Sunk that in and got the W. So congratulations to the Combat Company fighter. That's a good win for him.
Good presence of mind there. He saw an opening and he just jumped all over it. And that's what makes a good fight, you know, smelling blood and knowing when he can finish the fight, and that's exactly what he did.
Yes, a good display from Nathan Jones. Nice vocabulary of punches and also obvious submission.
Here we go with Brett Freeman with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are winner. Referee Scott Jones stopped this contest at 42 seconds in the second round. Declaring the winner by tap out to the guillotine choke, fighting out of the red corner, Nathan Jones!